there's a um, challenge with regard to kind of what I'm talking about earlier, being independent versus being interdependent. And let me explain what that means. A lot of a lot of people have this idea. It's a common thing. It's not just college students. It's a common thing, universal challenge, that you have to do everything on your own. You have to, it's kind of like the American mindset. You have to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You have to do it alone. You have to, it's a very individualistic idea. You can't get help. If you get help or ask for help, you may be perceived as weak or not being capable or not being able to do what have you. And so this is, I think, biggest one of the biggest challenges that we face in higher ed as a professional in higher ed, that students suffer in silence or struggle alone, or wait too long to ask for the help that they need. And so I've heard it described as just getting a little bit deeper with regard to this challenge, having a receiving block, meaning that you have no problem helping others, giving to others, supporting others. But when it comes to you getting that help or getting that support or being able to, accept help, there's some sort of block in you that in your brain, you don't think that that is something that is for you. And I kind of mentioned that before, like when I was in college, I had a, I think it was a basic requirement of college algebra, I think was the class, math class. I think I took that class like 2 or 3 times. Like I withdrew from the class. Like I didn't go to tutoring. I didn't ask for help. Um, in my brain, I had to figure it out and solve this problem on my own. And that was a cost for me. For example, like not a huge cost, that like it didn't delay my graduation, but it made like that math block for me was big, in that it made me not want to major in business, because in business you had to take calculus and I couldn't even get through college algebra. So why would I, even try to do that? So that was a block for me. Like I said, I think I took it 2 or 3 times. I'm not sure, but when you're in college, classes cost. So by me withdrawing from that class, and then taking it again, and then possibly taking it again, that's like 3 classes, three pieces of education that I could have taken. Like I could have taken like 3 other classes. Instead, I spent 3 times the amount of money to pass this one basic requirement. So that's just an example of the inability, like how an example of the inability to ask for help can cause deficits. So sometimes we learn that our children learn that from watching us. Like as a parent, do you, and these are inadvertent ways that we teach our children, like how to behave, how to think, what to do. Like, are you able to receive help? Are you willing to ask for help? Are you modeling that for them? Because that is very important. And then in alignment with your expectations of them, letting them know of your expectations with regard to them asking for help and them being independent versus independent. I don't have this book with me, but I mentioned in the past that I often go to my library, and I've been focusing on like the parenting books for college. And so there was this one book called, it was about, sending your child off to college. It was written a long time ago. So I'm hoping that's the reason why it was named this. It was called You're on Your Own, but I'll Be There If You Need Me. That was the title. You're on your own, but I'll be there if you need me. So I was just, definitely like, no, this is not the right message to be sending your child. So I asked my child, I was like, what do you think about the title of this book? And he said, well, I think I would like, if you said that to me, I would think that I need to figure things out on my own. And don't necessarily call you or ask you for help, and I need to figure it out on my own. But if things really, really went wrong, then I can call you. And so that is possibly an approach that some parents have with regard to college. That is definitely not my approach, or an approach that I recommend, especially during that first year and or that second year, because there are so many. I think the cost is too great, because there are so many things that could go wrong. There are so many new things that have to be learned. There are so many um, factors in the transition to college that are weighing against our students, that, the idea of, that's the job of college for them to figure it out. And that's how they learn. That's a very costly way to learn, in my opinion. So, especially like I said, during that first and second year, um, I see it as the role of the parent to help guide them, coach them in how to make those decisions. I've said this before. It's not the job to teach them what to think, but how to think. How do you make these important decisions? How do you problem solve? How do you figure out how to get the professor to respond to your email? How do you like these are just common problems, and these are challenges and or skills that are going to be important for the lifelong, for your life term. So you're teaching them how to be an adult, how to navigate the world as a grown-up, how to talk to people, how to communicate, how to get people on your side, how to make connect. Like there's so many different things, like I said, that are on the table when the child is transitioning from high school status to emerging adulthood, which is another term used in human development, and to adulthood. So there is a slow transition process. And that switch, like I said, does not happen when they graduate or when they go off to college. For some kids, yeah, they can really be really self-sufficient. Many kids not. And like I said, the stakes are way too high for me to just be, you know, sending them off alone, trying to figure things out themselves. So that was my other point that I wanted to make.